All right, folks, let me see what's going on this Tippler Talk Tuesday. Well, folks, in front of you, you see a couple of items. And this video, I'm trying to help those that don't know. Now, if you know this information, I guess you can just fast forward, stop the video, and move on. But this video is geared towards preventative, or the pretty much answering your question, what would you do? What would you do if some type of a disease were to get into your loft? How would you go about taking care of those birds? Well, the key to that may be of various things that you can do. In this case, I'm talking about preventative. Sometimes we can't be 100% sure that our birds are not gonna get sick, but I'm here to tell you that down south and up north right now, a bunch of fanciers are battling diseases right now. Unknown diseases of what are killing their birds. Something is killing their flocks. And in this video, I'm here to tell you that have you ever wondered about the preventative part? The preventative part, most handlers or most pigeon fanciers do is when they get home, they quarantine the bird. And then they go about their business and do whatever they have to do with their birds to quarantine them from the whole entire stock and not have any birds die on them. Especially when you attend a pigeon race or an exhibition, a show, pigeon show. So I'm here to tell you that this coming Saturday, there's going to be a pigeon show out in Spring Hill, set up by the VFW, and there are going to be a lot of pigeon fanciers out there. A lot of them are going to be competing in the show. And here are some of the things that I'm going to do in order to keep any type of diseases, hopefully, out of my loft. I like to go and attend. I want to go watch. But in back of my mind, it doesn't set too well when I hear these horror stories of folks losing birds down here in Florida or losing birds up north, dying to a disease in their loft that they don't even know how they got it. Now, some guys won't tell you that they've purchased birds or they've allowed birds to come into the loft. And some guys don't even do that. They have a closed loft and never, in their mind, they think they never have that problem. But have you ever wondered that maybe, just maybe, you brought that on your clothes? It's been written. I've heard stories of guys going out to pigeon shows and coming home and just as a spectator and having a problem in their loft. And they wonder, well, how did I get that? I know part of it's airborne, but what did you do as a fancier to prevent that from happening in your loft? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. A couple products here. If you're showing, it's great to have Lysol wipes, wipe their feet and everything. Once they've entered the show and you take them out of the show and you put them away in your crates, your carriers, pretty much kind of decon the bird, right? Disinfect the bird. You can start out by cleaning their feet. Now on the bird itself, the feathering, I don't know what to tell you other than keeping those birds when you get home quarantined on the side. And preferably at least more than 25 feet away from your loft in case you did bring something home and you don't want it to get to the other birds. Now, second thing, hand gel. A lot of hand gel. You want to clean your hands if you handle other people's birds, if you handle some of your birds. The judge is going to be handling all those different types of birds, and I'm sure he'll be transferring something to another bird by his hands. Another good item to have is alcohol. This one's 91%. They have 70%, a little bit less, but still works. Aerosol sprays. The sprays I like to use, if I have my birds in the carrier when I get home, as soon as I get the birds out of the carrier, I'll spray it down, maybe let it soak overnight, away from the loft or away from wherever I keep it, put away. Again, you got these Santa cloth. These are great. And look at all the stuff that it takes care of. Bacterial, tuberculosis, and varicella in 2 minutes. I mean, it does a lot of things. Wipes. And another good product to disinfect surfaces, hard surfaces, not wooden crates, but hard surfaces, plastic, metal, will be this disinfecting. mist spray. You can spray it on there, leave it on there, and then rinse it off after a certain time, right? So the reason for this video is, as a spectator, I'm going to go to that show and I'm gonna see all these wonderful birds. And when I get out of that show, when I leave that show, I am going to be carrying a backpack in my car. And as soon as I get out of that show, because I'm gonna be there for several hours, I don't know what type of airborne disease may fall on my clothes. It may attach to my clothes, my pants, the bottom of my shoes. I don't know. So to have a peace of mind, I'm gonna take it to the extreme. Preventative. I'm going to take a backpack full of clothes, a second set of clothes. I'm going to go to my nearest bathroom, and right away, as long as I know I'm leaving the facility, the building, I am going to change before I get in my car. And when I do, the reason why, I don't want to bring something home. So I'm gonna bring all my undergarments, socks, underwear. I am going to bring a set of pants, shirt, right? Pants, shirt, and an extra pair of shoes and socks. So I'm going to completely change, and I'm going to have a peace of mind as I drive home that at least I've done that. And that's not wear the same clothes going home, going up in back of my loft, in my home, when I get home and look at my birds. So all this clothes that I'm currently wearing is going to go in a plastic bag. Now, some folks may laugh, but believe it or not, it's almost like thinking that there's chemical warfare. It's in the air and you don't want to transfer that home. And if you don't want to transfer it home, contain that clothing in a plastic bag, tie it up. When you get home, the first thing you want to do is put it in the washer. Wash that clothes. The clothes that you wore to the show, whatever you did while you were at the show, participating in the show, wash your clothes. And then go jump in the shower and take a shower. Because I truly believe that a lot of that stuff is airborne, and you may give it the best feeds, the best preventative liquids in the water, but in the end, it's painful to watch some birds go down and each one die. And within a week, you get 30, 40, 50 birds that die because you didn't do something to prevent that. Now, if you do all that and it happens, oh well, it happens. It was meant to be. That's just the way it is. And it was airborne. You couldn't do anything about that part of it. But if you know that you just went to a show, you just participated, whether it be an exhibitor status or a spectator status, you know that you've done this. You've changed your clothes. You got home, you took a shower, and you washed your clothes, and that's a preventative part of it. The other side of that is if you're showing birds and you're transferring the birds from the show back into the box, you know before they enter the cages, the box was good. Now, when you enter them back in the box, you don't know what's on their feet and on their bodies, and they're spreading it. So when you get home, you disinfect your box. And one other thing you want to do is when you are within that first week or 2 weeks from attending a show, what you want to watch is how you tend to the birds that you were exhibiting and the ones that you kept home. What I would do is, if I entered several birds into a show, as soon as I got home, I would quarantine them at least 25 feet or more away from the loft. And then every day when I go out there and feed those birds and monitor those birds, I would feed first my stock of birds that I didn't fly that I did not exhibit. I would feed those first, get that all straightened out and situated, and then I would feed the ones that I'm quarantining for 2 weeks last. And when you do that, this way you know that once you deal with those birds, you're going right back into your house, you're changing, and then you're taking a shower and so on. Never go back to your loft if you're taking care of the ones that are quarantined. Don't do that, because when you do that, all you're doing is transferring whatever they may have to the other side. So, and if for guys that have close lofts together, really close, you know, the only thing I can say to that is monitor, monitor, monitor. You know, stay on top of it. You see one bird go down, act quickly. Start giving them something in the water that will slow the process, or, you know, and sometimes you can't, you know, you can't prevent it. It's just going to happen. But if you give it a chance, if you give it a go, maybe, just maybe, it'll save your whole entire stock. And for this Tipler Talk Tuesday, preventative, and what will you do if you go to a show and you exhibit your birds? What will you do if your birds started falling, dying on you, falling apart at your house? How are you going to take care of that? So, here again, Tipler Talk Tuesday. Sorry for the video being so late. However, I think this is important to share with the fanciers out there. I think it's good for everyone. And if you know it already, that's great. But for those, the new guys that don't know, this is what you need to be doing. Taking the extra steps in order to be successful and not having any birds die on you. And if you were to have a few die on you, they're away from your loft, you took care of that, and you don't lose the rest of the stock. So again, folks, on this Tipler Talk Tuesday, thank you for coming back and watching my videos. And comment below, write down what you would do, what you like, you know, as a fancier. I know it's in every fancier's mind, especially the ones that really, really love their pigeons. I'm not saying that we don't love our birds, but there are some guys that go to the extreme. They always take the extra measure, and that's a good thing. And help each other out. Pass it on, because it's only fair if the next guy comes in and he's not doing what you're doing, spread the information. Tell that fancier, hey, you want to use some of this? You want to use some of this? Have at it. I don't want your birds to get sick as well. We're all in this together. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. Come back and see me next week. Later.